All right, guys, I think we already have a lot of people who have already joined in. So I'll just get started. Just a little bit of context as to how this session will go. Um, Initially, I'll just walk you through the different ways in which we can integrate with HubSpot. Right, I'll be monologuing for a little bit. And then once we're through with that, obviously you have the option to raise your hands at any point in the session and we can discuss questions. No worries there. And once we're done with that, I have a few use cases that I've already set up and some that our users are already employing and some that we are employing inside Bitscale itself. So we'll be walking you through these use cases and maybe we can ideate a little bit on how you can employ these in your own accounts as well. So this is the general idea of what we'll be doing. I'll just present my screen and give you short context as to the HubSpot connection capabilities that we have on Bitscale first. Perfect. Right. So as far as like HubSpot as a data source is concerned, you can pull in company level data, contact level data, as well as lists from HubSpot. Now, these are fairly simple. If you just go to any of these, it would allow you to select your account, and then you can pass any filters or any combination of different filters to find appropriate leads that you want to pull into Bitscale. I'll just show you an example. Like internally, we maintain something called a Bitscale flag, and we can find that. Okay, it's not empty. Will be the result. And then we can get a list of different people or companies on HubSpot, which can now be imported into a new grid. So similar to this, we also have a contact level import and the list level imports. They're fairly similar. Just select your account, pass the filters, and you can pull those in. And once you are done with that, then we also have the option to, so sorry, this one, right. We also have the option to look up different HubSpot values. So if you go to integrations right here, you'll find an action that allows you to look up specific fields, or you can match some value with another and pull in all of their data properties, etc. So that can be done as well. And obviously, you can push all of these leads to HubSpot using our HubSpot push functionality. Just select the account, the type of record, and what you want to do. Do you want to add record or update record? And what unique identifier you want to utilize. So generally for company level data, the unique identifier is either the record ID of the HubSpot record, or you can also utilize the domain as one of the unique identifiers. For contact level data, it can be either their LinkedIn URL or maybe their email or the record ID, of course. So as far as like the connecting units are concerned, these are the ways in which you can communicate with HubSpot. If there are any questions regarding this, would love to take them right now, or we can move forward. Cool. Perfect. So in essence, you will be utilizing these integrations in different permutations and combinations to set up your workflows. Now, as far as the sources are concerned, we also allow you to schedule those. So in case you have set up any kind of HubSpot import, be it a company level import or a contact level import, you can straight away go to the data sources once you have imported it at least once. And then you can set up scheduling as well. So what this means is that once you set up your workflow completely and you want it to run automatically, you can do so. Just set the workflow up, then set the auto scheduling. We have granularity as low as like 30 minutes in this. So for most of you guys, a run once a day would be ample. But yeah, we do have that option available. And once that is done, it will run automatically on its own. One of the major use cases where this is super helpful is in HubSpot sanitization. So that is what I'll be showing you right now. One of the grids that we have set up for that. So right, so this is a two-way HubSpot sanitization grid. What's happening here is we are getting the data point from HubSpot, right? We're getting the HubSpot ID, first name, last name, LinkedIn URL, email if it's available. And you'll see there's a lot of blank values. We also have a few values that are available. And what you would want ideally is to fill in the values that are not available, get those enriched from Bitscale and push them back onto HubSpot. Now to do this, we can do this in two ways maybe. First one is you can create a flag on HubSpot's end that we will utilize to catch these values. and that flag is what you will also utilize to initiate the grid itself. So for us to pull in any data from Bitscale, there needs to be some unique procedure that we can follow to understand, okay, this is the data that we need to pull. And so, or else we'll just start pulling in all of the contact and company level data. And if that is what you want, that is a separate case. But usually you would not want that, right? So I'll just show you how you can set that up as well. So I'll take an example wherein maybe anyone like books a meeting or fills a form, etc. Right. So in that case, all you really need to do is simply head over to either a contact level property grid and go to actions, edit properties, and just create a property. And this property should be unique, right? Only Bitscale should be allowed to alter this. That is the basic logic. You can call this whatever you want. Internally, we prefer to call it something like a Bitscale flag or something. So Bitscale flag. Okay, we already have this flag demo, right? And we recommend setting that as a drop down. So drop down select, and the two values or labels should be sent. Sorry, I'll just move this somewhere else. Yes, and received. And once that is done, you can simply put this in any of your workflows right here. Right. I think, yeah, we are using it here in this one. So like whenever we have anyone filling our forms or a meeting is booked, we send a notification to Slack. Along with that, we also update the Bitscale flag value to send. Right. So that is what you would be required to do as well. So that we know, okay, this functionality has happened. And now we want to catch all of these contacts. So we know that for each of these contacts, their Bitscale flag is set as send. So that is something that you can do, and that allows us to catch those values as well. And once that is done, we can simply pull those data points in, right, as we did in this grid. Then we can do some sort of lookup, and we can also try to find out some data points that are not available. So we can enrich their LinkedIn profile to find their country, their full name, first name, last name, company LinkedIn URL, their title. We can also, if we don't have their phone number available, we can find their phone numbers. And the best thing about this entire sanitization process is that you'll only be paying credits for the data points that you did not have initially. So we can set up complex run conditions to make sure that we only run enrichments for the data points that we do not already have on HubSpot, as is being done here. So we already have phone numbers for these two entries. We did not have for these three. So we only ran the waterfall enrichment for these three. Some other data points, some normalization is happening here. And then we are collating all of those data points together in separate columns, the ones that were originally available and the ones that we have found. And after collecting them all, we're simply pushing them to HubSpot. Now, there's one thing that is also happening here. We're updating the Bitscale flag as well. So ideally, what you would want is as soon as any contact is flagged as sent, because that is the base of truth that we understand whenever we are pulling in leads onto Bitscale, then that means that contact is enrolled in this workflow. Now, to prevent like re-enrollment of any contact again and again, we need to make sure that that send value is replaced by something. So that is why initially I had set the drop-down value to either send or receive. So that is what's happening here as well. So when we are pushing the data back to HubSpot, we just map the fields to Bitscale flag and we just push it over, and it should be available on your CRM with all of the data sanitized, all of the data points available. And we also replace the flag with receive so that we know we don't have to re-enroll this. So this is the workflow for the basic HubSpot sanitization. Nothing too complicated. The only leverage that we have here is that this is set up automatically. So it is auto-scheduled to run like every day or every half an hour, maybe if that's relevant for you. And we can pull in these leads, re-enrich them, find the empty data points, and push them back onto HubSpot. And all of those capabilities are available in Bitscale itself. So this is the most basic use case. And I think this is the one that you guys are the most interested in. Next,
Others, just to add on top of this, like for the group that is here, like just to put it in terms of numbers, this exact workflow, if you would like, take the HubSpot operations hub, if I'm not wrong, Others, that costs an additional $800 or $600 to just get the webhook access in HubSpot. But using just this simple hack that Adarsh has figured out, you can you get all the power of Bitscale. Plus, additionally, you get that HubSpot operations hub type of access as well. So you skip paying that $600 to $800 per month.
True, true. Also, I've come to understand that HubSpot also provides some kind of internal enrichment capabilities. So you can, if you are like employing that, this can easily replace it. So yeah, so that is also a point to keep into consideration. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. I'll just head over to the next one. So this is one of the more unique use cases that I came across. Now, one of our like POCs was interested in utilizing the data that's available in their HubSpot to create call sheets for their BDRs. Now, if any of you guys are like familiar with how the different AI SDRs or this so-called AI-based agentic BDRs work, what they do is they technically create, at least for like outbound calls, obviously for the email system, they handle it end-to-end. But for like calls, what they usually do is they create some sort of call sheet with all the data points regarding the company available or things that your BDR could utilize during the call, and like they can create script, etc., that they can follow, which is customized based on the contact that they are reaching out to. So this is something that we set up internally. This kind of replicates that entire scenario, wherein for each contact that you already have on your CRM, you can pull in those data points. Obviously, the sanitization would happen as well, as I showed you in the previous grid. We find all the data points that are not already available. And once the sanitization is done, we have all the data points that we need, etc. What they were doing, so this was a company that was dabbling in renewable energy and like reaching out to those companies. So for them, what they wanted was they wanted to understand like how many sites does their prospect have, what kind of output do they have. They wanted to check for some certifications as well. So all of those data points are then we are pulling in from our multiple web search agents available in our enrichment section right here. So we're utilizing the whole array of these to find out different data points. We are scraping their website, etc. And once we have all of the data points available, we are simply creating a small final info sheet, which the BDR can utilize in their outbound efforts. Now, this is completely customizable. So here we have like set up the entire format. Okay, what are the data points that they usually require? So they used to require the company description, number of sites, site size, this thing called EPC rating or score that they really wanted. So all of these data points are completely customizable. So for example, in some other use case, maybe you want to find out more about what kind of certifications they have, or if they are hiring heavily or not, or any other intent signal that you usually catch on Bitscale. You can include those intent signals in this call sheets as well. So, and this call sheet would be handy available on your HubSpot as a rich text property. And whenever any of your BDRs are reaching out to any contacts or any prospects, they can simply like open their HubSpot. This call sheet will be available right there, and they can utilize it in any way or form they want. Also, if you are utilizing some kind of outreach software that allows us to integrate with them via APIs, we can also push these call sheets to those, and then it would be available handy there as well. So this was a real unique use case, which I thought was super relevant for some of you guys. Can test this out. Obviously, after this call, I will be sharing most of these grids with you. So you can either try to implement them on your own, or we can maybe connect and set that up on our end as well. Right. Next is another thing that we employ internally. So we use Instantly quite a lot in our outbound efforts, and Instantly allows us to push data points via webhook. What that really means is any kind of alert, whether someone has replied, someone is interested or not interested, maybe. So you can create a permutation of that alert on Instantly's end. And obviously, since we allow for import via webhooks on Bitscale, we can pull those in. And once we have those data points available, we can obviously visualize all of those data points here. And once that is done, we can do any kind of email enrichment, etc. We already have the email IDs available, so that's why we are not doing anything here. And next, we can find their LinkedIn URL, get their data points, everything. And based on the response that we got from Instantly, that is the mail, text, and everything, the entire thread, we are allocating a status. So what this really means is we're checking whether they're interested right now or not. Are they not interested, or are they neutral, etc. And based on that classification, we are then pulling in the other data points. So if they're not interested, we won't do any of these enrichments. We'll straight away push this back to HubSpot. And if not, if they are interested or neutral, we are getting these data points available. We're finding all of the things that are relevant for us using our LinkedIn enrichment tools. And once all of that is done, and we do a little bit of cleanup as well, we also check whether they are already on HubSpot or not. Because if they are, this entire procedure becomes kind of not really relevant because you already have the data points available then. And once all of this is done, we allocate them a lifecycle stage that we maintain on HubSpot, depending on what was their lead status here, interested or not. And once all of that is done, we just simply push that back into HubSpot. We update their company level data. We update their contact level data, and all of that is done. And we set a custom property called meeting source as outbound, so that we can make sure that these data points came from outbound. Now, the major reason why I showed you this is not just specific to Instantly. So if you're utilizing any kind of outbound software that allows you to send alerts to HubSpot, you can utilize this same workflow for those as well. So as long as there is some context available between the interaction that you had with that contact, we can find out whether the contact was genuinely interested in the conversation or not. And if so, we can then set their lifecycle stage or their lead status and then push them back onto HubSpot. And this also happens completely automatically as soon as you're done with a call or an outreach. We'll just pull the alert here on Bitscale, do all of these enrichments, and then push them back onto HubSpot. So, right. I've shared like 3 real good workflows right now. Are there any questions regarding these? We'd love to take them.
You can either raise your hand or like ask your question in the tools section at the bottom right. So yeah, just beside the message, yeah, this is the tool section for everyone for reference. In this Q&A section, you can post your question. So if you have any questions, yeah, in this Q&A section, if you just open it up. Yeah. So I had posted a sample question here, but you can also ask your questions directly here. And yeah.
None? No worries. Anyways, if we will be sharing almost all of these workflows to you guys as well. So if you have any questions later, or if you want to just get on a one-on-one call, you can do so as well. I'll just get back to the other flows that we have. All right, this is something that we do as well. This is sort of like a pre-sales ICP filtering that we do. So right now, the flows that I showed you were basically the ones that are generally outbound based, sort of. So we are doing outbound, and then the alerts we get, etc. We are pulling those data points, or that the contact details are already available on HubSpot, and we are cleaning them up, etc. But in case there is some inbound based contact, someone who's maybe filled a form on your website, just come over. So you do know that, okay, they're interested in the product, but in the current market scenario, you're not sure if like they are the best fit for your product or not, and you want to know more about them, and maybe you want to check whether they line your ICP or not. So these are some data points that might be relevant for you. So this is a flow that we had set up internally. So whenever we have an inbound based lead or inbound contact, we pull in their data points from HubSpot, fairly similar to the sanitization process. We also maintain a flag for this. And once we have those data points available, we find out more about that person, some details, okay, their title, we find out more about their company, we check whether they actually lie in our ICP or not, and we set a flag depending on that. We get their website information. We also find, so we would always want that before any call, we are able to curate our offering specific to a contact. So what we do is, rather than just finding out some basic details about the person we are getting in touch with, we try to like find out more about them, about their company, with customers they have, what industries are they targeting, what markets are they targeting. We also try to get in some insights. Now these would be very specific to like you guys, right? So this is something that is very helpful for us. So that is what we are doing here. But in your case, maybe you want some other data points. Maybe you want to like get their standing in some list or something, maybe, right? So this would be completely customizable for you guys. So whatever data points that you really require or you think works best for like identifying or allocating contacts in an order or a priority order, that can be done as well. You can also do sort of a lead scoring here. So depending on the data points that we retrieve, you can find out, okay, how high would this guy would have an intent to buy your product actually. So these are some of the things that you can ideate upon. But yeah, this is the flow. We also find a few custom use cases that we can mention during the call itself. And that allows us to give a small baseline or a foundation as to how we can like continue the conversation and how we can curate our product best for their needs. And once we have all of these data points available, we push them back into HubSpot. So as you guys might have guessed it, HubSpot has kind of become our end-to-end like prospect database with all of their data points, with the intent signals, call sheets, use case recommendations, etc. So all of those are available on HubSpot, and that is why what I expect like most of you guys want from your CRM as well, so that it becomes like a one-stop solution for everything. And yeah, cool.
I
Next,
think Yash had a question. I will just invite him in.
yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yash?
go ahead.
Hey, hi guys. I have a very basic question.
Mhm.
Suppose if I have around 50 contacts on an Excel sheet,
Okay.
hypothetically, right? I must have received them from some X source, probably from an event or whatever.
Mhm.
Would it be recommended to run the enrichment on Bitscale first and then push onto HubSpot, or push the data directly on HubSpot and then run an enrichment? What would be the ideal way to do it?
Right. So it's basically about the amount of touch points there is some manual efforts already involved. So completely up to you. If you upload it into HubSpot, if you have already set up a workflow, then everything else will be handled by our integration with HubSpot. So we will catch that lead, we will pull those in, we will enrich them, and we will push it back to HubSpot. But in case you upload it straight away to Bitscale, there's just one extra step of selecting all the rows and clicking on run rows. So fairly identical processes, to be very honest. Doesn't really make a lot of difference. So completely depends on your convenience. So if you are someone who actually utilizes a Bitscale to its fullest, like you do create a lot of flows, you do a lot of manual prospecting there as well, you utilize many of our like enrichments, etc., data sources. In those cases, in case you're very hands-on with the platform, obviously go ahead, upload the list and run it manually. That works. But a few of
Yeah,
those,
my doubt
yeah,
actually came up because I think one of our initial interactions while we were onboarding onto the tool, you had mentioned that there is some problem with respect to how HubSpot takes in the text formatting from third-party tools, right?
right.
So I just wanted to understand whether it's is running an integration, like is running an enrichment through an integration 100% foolproof, or will we run into say data quality issues later, something like that?
Right. So to curb that, what we do like in our workflows is that we split the data points into separate sections and push them in separate rich text properties. So HubSpot has an option to maintain a rich text property. Okay. The only point where it becomes an issue is when you try to embed that rich text property in an outbound mail. So if you're pushing those properties in an maybe a marketing mail sequence or maybe a sales mail sequence, since HubSpot allows those now as well, then that is where it might create an issue because of the formatting. But as far as like maintenance is concerned, or the example I showed you with the call sheet, in those cases, the formatting would not be an issue. And anyways, whenever we set these workflows up, what we recommend is like passing data points in snippets in different parts. So as you would notice in some of our flows, we have enriched all of those data points separately, and sort of updating those multi-line text properties on HubSpot with all of those data points. And we do maintain a specific rich text data point as well, which has like all of these collated. But if we do end up wanting to utilize HubSpot's capabilities in their marketing or sales-based outbound, we would recommend then using those simple multi-text lines as placeholders and including them in your flows. As far as like simply maintaining them on HubSpot is concerned, there shouldn't be any issue sending any kind of data enrichment or data point from Bitscale onto HubSpot. You can view them fine. They would look perfectly fine. It's only when you try to embed them in HubSpot-based workflows, as in HubSpot-based marketing campaigns or HubSpot-based sales campaigns, only then there might be an issue. Just a second. There's a new question here. Okay, if I'm warming up these 50 leads through Bitscale plus email, okay, then upload to Bitscale. If Bitscale is only enrichment, then HubSpot, right? Sorry, Raghavan, I didn't get you clearly. I'll just add you as a contributor. Yash, do you feel that your question was answered? Is that what you were looking for?
Yes, yes, perfect. Yeah, thank you.
No worries. I'll just add you as a contributor, Rajgopal. Give me a second. Abhinay, can you add him? Would that be possible?
Yeah, let me do it.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, please.
So I was just trying to build on Yash's conversation about these 50 leads, right? So it depends on how I intend to use these 50 leads, right? So if I already see some intent, if I feel that they are close to middle of the funnel, probably I'll try using them on HubSpot in itself. But if I feel that these are just, very, very low intent and top of the funnel, probably it makes sense that I have them on Bitscale, I enrich them, and then I start running those campaigns. And once I see the intent moving, then I push it to HubSpot. This is what I try to mean. Do you think this approach makes sense?
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. One thing though, since we allow you to like set up conditions for any kind of enrichment, logically, if the contact is at any stage of intent, we can just pull those in on Bitscale, and we'll only enrich for the data points that you don't already have. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying, and definitely, if it's already like mid funnel or like medium to high intent lead, just push them to HubSpot and just maybe start with the outbound. But yeah, in case you feel okay, I'm not sure if this guy will buy or not, and I need more details, yeah, put them on Bitscale, enrich them, and then push them to HubSpot. Yeah,
and I feel it also depends on how I intend to use the CRM, right? Do I want to have the CRM as the source of all leads, or if I want to use the CRM only to manage my deals and not leads? Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that also makes a lot of sense. Yeah. If you just want them to be as a source of truth for your deals, that would make a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
That was a good question. Thanks a lot, Rajgopal. Cool. All right. I just have one more flow to show you. This is a very simple flow, one of the most initial flows that we set up on Bitscale when we were like exploring how you can like integrate between HubSpot workflows and Bitscale. And why I like this flow is because since it was one of the first flows that I set up, so it's kind of close to my heart, and it employs the very functionality that Abhinay mentioned a little while ago, using their like operations hub, etc. So if you do have the operations hub and you want to leverage its capabilities to the fullest, you can also push leads into Bitscale via webhooks, as Abhinay mentioned earlier. And the only like plus point of that might be that it allows you to get those data points almost next to instantaneously. While that is not very relevant to most of you, it does look good to like create a contact on HubSpot, and within the next second or a couple seconds, all of its details are filled completely. So in cases such as those, you can set this workflow up. So what's happening here is we just put a company name, or I think this flow would also be relevant for those people who do a lot of manual research before they like decide they want to reach out to a company. In cases such as those, you can simply, once you have like finally decided, okay, this is the company I want to reach out to, and you just put in their website on HubSpot. Everything else is handled by Bitscale itself. As soon as that field is filled, it triggers the workflow, pushes a webhook, and we catch that here on Bitscale. We find people who are working in that company, and then we push all of those people into another grid, and then we find the company website, etc. All of the data points already available, and then we find their emails, and then we just push them back into HubSpot. So just wanted to show you this capability as well, and it simply allows you to kind of research on only the account level data point. We can replicate this now on using our flow as well. So in case you do a lot of like manual research before you actually start reaching out to a company or an account, you can simply add those accounts on to your HubSpot, and you can leave the rest to Bitscale. We'll fetch those accounts. We'll get those data points. We'll do all the enrichments that you usually do, and we'll also find the contacts, and all of those will be pushed back into HubSpot in a matter of like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the lowest granularity of our scheduling is. So yeah, I guess these were the workflows that I wanted to show you. Fairly similar, I would say. The logic remains the same. We are just utilizing either HubSpot as a source, HubSpot as a query, or HubSpot as a sink, wherein we are pushing the data points and just mixing and matching these along with the other capabilities that we have on Bitscale, that is using AI or content creation or web research or maybe webhooks or interaction between grids or VLOOKUPs or simple CRM lookups. You can create like almost next to any possible workflow that you can imagine. So, right, with this, I think I'm done with all the workflow that I wanted to share. Wanted to open the floor for any more questions or any use case that you think is relevant or you want to discuss about, can do so now.
And just to reiterate what others mentioned initially as well, we'll share all the recordings and notes and the workflows, like the grids that we showed in this call. So you will have access to all of that. We'll share that in the community as well. So you can come back to it or share it in your network as well.
Cool, perfect. I guess there aren't any other questions. As Abhinay said, we'll share all the grid links. I will clean it up a little bit though, because these are something that we use internally. So just wait for a few days and I'll just push all of those grid shareable links on either our announcement channel or somewhere else. And we'll also be uploading this entire meeting recording on YouTube. So you can watch there. We'll also be sharing it on our channels as well, most probably. So yeah, great talking with you guys. And if you have any other questions or if you just feel shy and don't want to share it here, just DM me them or maybe share it on our support channel and we'll get on with it as soon as possible. All right. Nice session, guys. Bye-bye.